So my mom actually is from Israel, so obviously growing up in this neighborhood was actually wasn't that tricky. We just didn't say where we were from. I think a big part of my upbringing has been growing up in social housing like this, but then because we were Israelis living in a Palestinian neighborhood where the local school was almost entirely Palestinians, my mom was very worried about me going to the local school. And therefore, she worked very hard to get me into a school in a different neighborhood. So now we're standing between the neighborhood I grew up in and where I ended up going to school, slightly nicer part of Copenhagen. Going to school, I think I found it quite easy, so I had quite a lot of time on my hands. So my school years were really around reading books. I loved reading books and playing computer games and playing football. Seeing that there were kids that were able to go on summer vacation every summer, ski vacation every winter, and not having to think as much about everything as we did in my family. And I think that kind of started the drive in me, or the chip on my shoulder, to really be able to carve out a life where I didn't have to think about those kinds of things. After school, went to high school, started to try a bit harder, got the best grades in my year, and wanted to test myself at the next level. And so the biggest way to prove myself felt like going to Oxford. Suddenly there was a new league I was competing in, you can say, and it was a lot of fun. But it also felt like that was a place where I could be one of the top performers. And after Oxford, went into the business world as a strategy consultant with one of the top consulting firms helping private equity funds and investment banks. Suddenly being in the room with top CEOs in the industries and still feeling like I had the level to be there. And that achieved a lot of things for me. One, having always had this thing of not wanting to be poor, having grown up not in a way that felt poor. I think my parents were good at prioritizing money in a way where we didn't necessarily feel it, but having seen other people be a lot more wealthy. So having achieved that at 24, not having to worry about money, being able to do whatever I wanted to do, being in the room with these top execs and being able to have a voice and help them with their businesses. But then looking at the partners in the consultancies and the kind of stress they were living under, how optimized every bit of their life was, from 6 a.m. answering emails to 2 a.m. None of them really that focused on their personal lives. And I looked at them and I was just like, fuck, that's not what I want to do. So ended up quitting consulting, having achieved some of the chip on my shoulder, but realizing, okay, there's other things you can start thinking about doing now. If what you're trying to do is not get rich, then what is it that's out there to achieve? And then I think that quite quickly led me into the tech world and trying to sort of leave a mark of some sort and ideally have a positive social impact at the same time. And now All Gravy lives on Nørrebro. We're 35 people in Nørrebro. We're building something incredible for the hospitality scene, and we've managed to get some great investors on board, and I think we're building a product that really helps people. So I'm super excited about what we're doing now, and also feel like we've only just started.